I have a snack? Can I have a snack? Can I have a snack? I know I didn't eat any dinner, but can I have a snack? It drives us absolutely bananas. It is Supernanny Saturday, and this week we are watching the Ririe Family. So let's grab our beverages and dive in.
This happens pretty much every day. Blake's the biggest problem we have right now. Blake! Oh my goodness. Blake! Whoa! Blake tends to run off all the time. It scares the life out of me.
That little boy's just run into the street.
Ben and I disagree on our parenting styles.
We're not having snacks.
What's the big deal? He has a snack or not?
Then he doesn't eat dinner. That's the problem. Supernanny, I've hit a brick wall. I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. Please, please, we need your help.
Guys, you really do need my help. I'm on my way.
Wow, the quality of this is just, it's there. We are back in season 1. This aired in 2005, and the biggest issue we're hearing is about Blake, the 3-year-old. I'm sure you're not surprised. I'm not surprised. The 1-year-old, what kind of problems are you really going to have besides sleep issues, maybe feeding issues, but behavior issues don't come up that young. Then you have the 7 and the 9-year-olds who are probably going to school, so they're going to learn a lot of that structure and self-control, and just by age, that will come together. Blake is our main focus. Let's see how observation day goes.
Mum was getting the kids ready for school, and she was helping them get dressed.
Okay, where did Blake go? Did you see him? Come here, let's go find Blake. Blake! Blake!
Stop trying to see
Do you know where Blake is?
My first thought was, oh my God, he's gone outside the door. He's gone across the road. A car might hit him.
I don't know. This felt quite fabricated, the way that the door was propped open and he just happened to go outside. Maybe it was produced because Blake does do this on a regular basis and they wanted to catch it on film. But regardless, here on Mommy Breakdown, we use Supernanny as a jumping off point to discuss discipline and parenting, and kids will do things like this. They will put themselves in unsafe situations, hence why we don't leave them alone. It's why we have baby gates. It's why we have surveillance cameras. It's why we have locks. It's why when we go to the grocery store, we don't just go, hey, see you later, I'll be back in an hour, to our 3-year-old.
Blake! He's where?
That boy just runs across. He doesn't look left or right. It is so dangerous. Blake, where are you going, darling?
I mean, his friend lives here and they play all the time. And I mean, they're great friends. Yeah, but see?
Jen tells Scott that her son runs across the road, but he just laughs at her.
Scott's much more lax about that, and so we tend to argue or disagree about that.
Why do kids misbehave? When they're very young, it's due to a lack of language skills. One of the best things you can do when you have a baby is begin to teach them basic sign language. More. Finished. Because they can't communicate it to you, but you can use more for more food. You can use more for more swinging on the swing. Push me, mommy. More. I'm done. Finished. By doing this, you're laying some groundwork with your child on I hear you, I see you, and when you need something, you can come to me and I will respond. I will not ignore you. Because over time, what ends up happening, in this case, we have a 3-year-old, is he has this toy that he wants to return to his neighbor friend. And so he just decides to just go out and do it. In order to solve something like this, because it's obviously an ongoing issue, there needs to be a communication. Do we have a basket that's by the front door with anything that we need to return to our friends goes in the basket, and then at 1 o'clock every day after your little brother's nap, we go deliver the things. You get it? Communication starts very young, and it's that attunement process where our child understands that we hear them and we're trying to understand them, and there's that respect and that relationship built up. And it just seems like at this point, Blake just does whatever he wants to do, and then mom and dad just fight about it.
What's wrong?
As soon as we arrived at the mall, Blake was just running off in every direction. He went into every shop. He didn't want to listen.
Blake, this way. Blake! Blake! Blake, seriously, okay?
The longer we stayed at the mall, the worse things got.
Look what's had to happen. I've had to leave all the kids.
Of course, the longer the child is at the mall, the worse it's going to get. Are the expectations developmentally appropriate? You are asking a 3-year-old to go to the mall with you, not to quickly return. We're gonna run in, we're gonna return this real quick, and then we're gonna go on the little carousel in the middle of the mall. No. We're browsing. We're browsing. I want you to just stand near me, and we're just gonna walk around. And anytime you see something that's fun and interesting, you're not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to go near it. You have to stay right here. So you see that colorful, fluffy toy over there? Don't touch it. You see that button by the elevator? Don't touch it. You see that cool escalator that you want to go up and down because it looks like a ride to you? Don't go up and down that. You're not allowed to do anything. You just have to sit there and watch. Look at this chart that I pulled up. These are the average attention spans by age group. Now, will children fall outside of this? Of course. We've all been to places where we didn't even realize there were kids sitting at a table next to us because they were just so calm and so well behaved. And I don't want to completely negate the fact that maybe the parents or the caregiver has been working on that and it's a skill that they've been practicing, but we can't forget that it's not just nurture, there's also nature. And each child has its own temperament. And this is why we don't look at a mother who just had a newborn. If the newborn is crying all night, we don't go, well, what's wrong with you? We don't blame the mother or the father or anyone involved because it's the temperament of the baby. Now, as the baby gets older and how we respond to it, does it matter? Yes, it is a combination. We're not totally going one way or the other. But this is important to remember because if we are expecting our children to do what they are not capable of doing, it's not fair. Is Blake capable of these expectations that are being placed on him? The average attention span for a 3-year-old is 6 to 8 minutes. How long are you at the mall, Mom? Have you given him anything to do? Are you guys walking through the mall going, oh, let's see how many people with blue shirts? No, you're not. And so he's just acting his age, and it creates this negative cycle of you're the bad kid. Well, look, your brother and sister can stand just fine. And look, even your little brother stays just quietly in the stroller. What's wrong with you?
The kids snack all the time.
There you go.
I don't even know how many times I saw those children go into the pantry. This is the biggest candy pantry I've ever seen. I've just been in the pantry and it's like Candyland in there. There are so many treats and sweets and cookies and candies. I mean, my God, it's packed. No wonder why Jennifer's having problems with the children eating. They're filling themselves up on that old rubbish.
Don't we just love the question, can I have a snack? 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 I know I didn't eat any dinner, but can I have a snack? It drives us absolutely bananas. And like Joe said, the solution is structure. Either you have a schedule with certain times when the kitchen is open and it's a visual schedule and you teach it to the kids and you enforce it, or you can do another idea. Snacky trays. A snacky tray in the morning and a snacky tray in the afternoon, and the child helps pick out the items that are going to be on the snacky tray, and then you get to put on some items that you want them to eat as well, and then that is it. It stays out, and if they want a snack, they can eat something on their snacky tray. If they finish something on their snacky tray, you get to eat something else on the snacky tray, or you can wait for lunch. That could be a solution as well. I think the biggest problem that I see caregivers making is it's like Groundhog Day and they just keep banging their heads against the wall. Each child is going to have a different challenge. Each family is going to have a different challenge. Pick the biggest problem and then do something about it. Don't just continue to bang your head against the wall over and over and over again. If you have a snacky problem, find a snacky solution. So what is your snacky solution? I do read every comment and I respond as I've been responding to every comment so far because our channel is not as big, and I hope to always continue to respond. But I'd love to hear your ideas on the snacky solutions.
I'd like to have us all sit down at the same time.
This is typical of meal times.
Oh, absolutely.
That conflicts with Jenny's point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I think she wants them to stay and sit down and eat lunch, but He's active. He's always up and down. It's just the way he is.
So how do you guys resolve your conflicting opinions as a couple?
We really don't, do we?
No.
This is about way more than lunch. You hear that undertone with mom and dad? They do not agree. They do not communicate. Therefore, they do not make solutions together. This is going to come to a head. And I'm sure at the parent meeting, Jo Frost is going to do her super nanny thing and let them know how she feels. Now, what do we do about kids getting up from the table? First of all, don't ask kids to wait that can't wait. Are you calling your younger children in when you're still setting the table? Now, the older kids, they can participate. They can be helpful. They can set the table with you. But the younger children, don't call them in until you're literally all sitting at the table, and then they could just come and sit. Wait time is just the worst for young children. So cut down, oh, I just spit, sorry. Cut down on your wait time. Then, is there an activity during lunch that they can do? Because we know that they can only sit and focus for so long. A great idea are those little whiteboards that they have at like the Dollar Tree, where each of you take a turn and you go around the table and you draw something and everybody has to guess what it is. That will keep a toddler engaged, a 3-year-old, a preschooler engaged. Another activity is maybe you set one of those paper tablecloths, like you just get paper. I'm sure you've been to restaurants too where they do this, and the kids can draw at lunch. And so, like, I know it's a lot of work, but if your expectations are for a child to sit quietly that's 3 years old and not get up from the table, then what are you doing to help encourage that attention span, increase that attention span?
I would like to talk about Blake running across this road where he could be hit by a car. He's 3 years old.
He has free reign at all times.
Scott, you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
That's the way I was when I was younger.
What, we can all thank our lucky stars you're still living.
I felt picked on.
I really think she pretty much hit the nail on the head with all of the issues that, she brought up.
The reactions between Scott and Jennifer were so different. Scott seemed to make everything a joke and he wasn't taking this seriously, and Jo called him out on it, and his response in the interview was that he felt picked on, as opposed to Jennifer, when she was called out, she took it on the chin and she said, there are things that we need to do, that we need to fix, and I understand it and it was hard. That was interesting to me. We have to remember too that mom is the primary caregiver, so she's the one dealing with the consequences of the poor parenting, probably more than Scott is. I'm wondering, is Scott going to take this seriously? And I'm also wondering, are these parents still together? Because I'm getting the feeling that they're just very much not on the same page with the goals for their children. And even just personality-wise, there will be an update at the end of this video. We will pull up some links on where they are now. Hopefully we find some information about them. Let's see how teaching day goes.
Family routine.
Okay, very good. Jo brought in a routine that really categorized basically just our time throughout the day.
Putting the snacks at these times are going to keep the children going. Right. It's not going to take them away from them, but at the same time, it's going to keep them going and fuel. Because they do engage in activities. They do need a snack to keep going. Right. What it won't do now is mess up your meal times. Yeah. So that your children are not going to want to eat their dinner.
There's a reason why Teach Day starts with a schedule. It's because it works. She puts on there when the snack times are so that they have enough food in their belly, but not too much in their belly that they won't eat the meals. I'll be honest, I still use a schedule, and I have older children now. I have an 11-year-old, and I also have a 6-year-old who is turning 7 tomorrow, so happy birthday to him. I will pull up my schedule, my current schedule for you. This is what it looks like. I have my one child, what they're doing, my second child, what they're doing, and then what I'm doing. does it mean that I follow it to a T? Am I sitting there with a timer on? Absolutely not. That would be way too stressful. It's more of a guidance, because you're going to fall into one of two camps. You're either the type of person who thinks you have all the time in the world, or you're the opposite. You feel so overwhelmed, like you have so much to do and so little time, but when you actually write out the schedule, you're like, wow, I do have space here and here. You're going to fall into one of those two camps, and the schedule making, the routine making, the process of actually sitting down and writing it out is way more important than following it to a T, because it's taking what's in here and putting it down. I can't even begin to say the changes that could happen in your home with your children if you have behavioral challenges by having a schedule.
Later that afternoon, Blake went to run across the road and Mum said, stop. He actually looked round at her and carried on.
Listen to me. I told you to stop. You do not stay in the road, you do not run in the road, and you do not tell me no. Okay, Blake.
Kisses, hold no grudges, let's move on to the next thing. Okay.
I am surprised at how well Blake took that timeout. I don't remember the last family we watched together where a child sat in the timeout the whole time and didn't try to escape. Bravo, Blake, but also bravo to Mom, because she had that authoritative tone. She had it down. She looked at him in the eyes and she was like, absolutely not. That is not safe. And what Joe said at the end of now we move on, he served his consequences. We have to remember that as caregivers. We're not going to take things personally when our kids misbehave. It's not about our feelings. It's cause and effect. Cause and effect. And if you're not getting the effect that you want, then you might need to change things. Another thing she adds is that stop sign. Love it. We love visuals. It gives children the, oh, that's right, I see that, all right. And then in addition, the lock on top, because even if there's a visual there, the child may decide to still do it, and we're not going to let the child go outside and be unsafe. So Teach Day is off the charts.
Now that we're here, I want you to come down to the children's level and explain. We're at the park now, we're going to have fun, all right? But what I want you to do is stay by Mummy's side, okay? This is the sign, stop. And when Mummy says, with a low-toned, authoritative voice, stop, and puts her hand up, and get the boys to do the same, I want you to stop where you are. So your children know that they have to stay quite near to you, but you're also giving them freedom, that they don't have to be tied completely to you.
Okay. I can't even begin to express how much I love this. I love this. And here's why. The foundation for everything with our children is them wanting freedom and independence, and us going, all right, but you need to do it in a safe way, and you need to get the things done that you need to get done. So instead of it's like, I want you to hold the stroller, it's, I don't care if you hold the stroller, but if you walk away, I need to be able to say stop, and you actually stop, because my job is to keep you safe.
2 times Mommy said stop, and you kept going for the bench. I need you to hold on now for a little bit.
Because you should have listened.
You should have listened to me the first time, okay? Thank you. Let's go.
Hold on, get him to hold on. As soon as his hand goes off, you say hold on.
Okay,
so you
Blake.
can walk beside now if you want to.
You can walk
go
on
off.
your own now, sweetie. You don't
When I
have to
say
hold
stop,
on.
it's stop.
Okay,
stop.
Stop, Blake.
Put your hand out so he recognises
Stop.
the hand.
Good job. I'm so impressed that he's listening to me.
Yesterday, I was talking to my son. We're working on cleaning our room. It's hard. When they take out many bins and all the toys get mixed up, it's overwhelming to clean it up. So I had a conversation with him and I said, this isn't working. You're frustrated cleaning up your room because there's so much to clean up. And you're taking out 5, 6 bins. Maybe 5 or 6 bins is too much for you to take out, because I don't care how many toys you take out. You could take out every bin in your whole closet, but can you clean those up? And then it doesn't become a power struggle. It's me helping you. If you can't keep your room clean and make those decisions, then I will have to make those decisions for you, and you're going to need a rule of you can only take out 2 bins. But I don't want to do that. Same thing with when your child gets older and they become a teenager and they're like, hey mom, I want after school to go to my friend's house. And in your head, you're thinking, you're not going to get your homework done and you're not going to get your chores done. Instead, you go, okay, I see you want to go to your friend's house. Okay, what other things do you need to get done? All right, I have this homework, I have this study. And then when the child isn't able to accomplish those things because they stayed too late at their friend's house, you go, I see that didn't work. And these are the things that have to get done. Now, I don't want to have to give you a schedule and tell you when you can go to your friends and when you can't. I want you to be able to fit it all in, but clearly how you're wanting to do it isn't working because you were up until 10 o'clock studying. So do I need to step in and help you? What are we working on here? You're helping them figure out their own independence instead of it being you against them. And I really hope this makes sense because this is probably what I'm most passionate about when it comes to parenting and discipline. Forget the stupid timeout. I'm not saying it doesn't have a place, but the main goal of parenting and discipline is to teach them. And they need to know how they can be independent and be successful. And if we're constantly making these artificial rules and procedures always and never giving them an opportunity to be a part of it, then one day when they're 18 and they're on their own, they will just go crazy. So yes, so much this. If you see nothing else on my channel, this is it.
It's really important that snacking becomes regulated. These jars are your snack jars. And this is where your snacks are going to go. Choose 3 snacks to go in your snack jar.
2 snacks.
Okay?
I love it. We'll switch cookies for an apple.
An apple, or do you want the cheese?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Oh, it's getting heavy.
She did a little version of the snacky tray, but by using containers. I might even let the kids decorate their own container. That could be a fun way when you're changing something in your home. Instead of it being like, oh, now I can't get snacks whenever I want. You make it fun. We're decorating our own container. She also takes the rest of the snacks and puts it up high in a cabinet away. Out of sight, out of mind. Imagine for you, your favorite snack constantly being available to you. Might be hard to say no. So having it far away and they just have the certain snacks in their bin that they can have at certain times. I love it. And it's airtight, so you don't have to worry about ants and stuff. I don't know about you, but we get a lot of ants and cockroaches in Florida and critters, which aren't lovely. So little containers and decorating it, I'm on board.
What I would like you both to do is to write down what you need from one another.
I need Scott to talk to me away from the kids about parenting issues that he doesn't agree with me on. I need Scott to support me in my discipline of Blake, especially concerning his safety.
Yeah, I agree. We really don't discuss parenting that often, so it's things we need to work out.
I agree.
Writing things down before having that verbal conversation is going to save you from so many issues because each of you have pen to paper. And when you're writing something out, you're just more intentional and mindful of what you're saying, as opposed to when you're emotional in a verbal conversation. You might say things that hurt the other person because you're emotional. You might still be expressing the same sentiment, but you said a lot of extra things that didn't help your case and it only hurt your partner. And secondly, by writing it down, there's no miscommunication there because you're being very clear. And make sure you're being very clear. Instead of saying things like, I need more help, what does that look like? What does I need more help look like? How about in the evenings, I need more help with the bedtime routine. While I'm doing bath time, I need you to do the dishes. Then when the conversation is all over and the weeks pass by and then the other person isn't doing the dishes, it's not a remember the conversation. Oh, I don't remember you said that. It's okay. We have it written down. It saves you from a lot of problems. And I know that we know these things. It's like those things that we know to do, but then we don't do it. We're like, why don't we just do it? You will save yourself from so much miscommunication if things are just written down.
Homemade pizza,
Now that the kids aren't snacking all day long, when it comes to meal times, they sit down with no fuss at all.
Blake, You really need a piece of pizza.
The next step was to encourage Blake to eat the food that was prepared for him. In this case, it was pizza. Blake is a really fussy eater. He will only eat his carrots, but he doesn't want his pizza. Watch and just say, 2 more carrots, and then you have to have 2 bites of pizza before you can have some more carrots.
If you've been around long enough, you know why I was nodding my head during this and not in a good way. I'm not a fan of forcing kids to eat. I'm also not a fan of saying you can't have this until you have that. I don't think long term there are good benefits. Short term, yeah, did you get the kid to eat? Of course, but what's the long term consequences of this? I'm not going to go into the whole thing because we've talked about it so much. I will link it in the description if you're interested. I'll link the exact episodes where we talked about being forced to eat and some other strategies that you can use. Of course, we're not going to let the kid eat whatever they want, make them a second meal all the time. I'm not saying that, but the whole, you have to have 2 bites of this, and it's not my jam. Not my jam.
I had a tendency to be lazy about parenting in the past, and this is definitely helping, me get more involved with the kids. Blake, if I have to ask you again, you're going to go on the naughty circle.
All right, Scott, if you can just follow that through with Blake.
Okay, that's it, Blake. Come on, let's get on the naughty circle.
It was amazing for me to see Scott put Blake on the naughty circle. He took that initiative.
Okay, give me hugs.
Have you ever heard of the 5 love languages? It's the way that we receive love or the way that we give love, and it usually falls into one of these 5 categories. Quality time, meaning that I really enjoy just being around you, and I like it when you're around me. Gifts, I like receiving and giving gifts, even if they're small gifts, it's very thoughtful, and when you pick something up for me, it just says something and I feel very loved. Words of affirmation, sending little texts throughout the day, leaving little notes or receiving those notes. Another one is acts of service, when you go out of your way and you fill up my gas, or you do the dishes, or I cook for you. Those kinds of things, I feel loved, and I like giving love that way. And then the last one is physical touch. Just when you come over and you put your arm on my shoulder, or you hold my hand, or you want to sit with me on the couch, that's when I feel loved. Understanding your love language can really help. And then communicating your love language to the people around you is even more beneficial, because you might not line up. So your partner might be showing you love in one way and you're not receiving it. So mom sharing with dad, hey, I really need you to step up and help with the kids during those times. That's a lot like acts of service. I feel loved and I feel like you care about me because you are doing the things that I want you to do. That's acts of service. And I heard a joke recently where the mom said, you know what my love language? My love language is when my husband does the thing without me asking. Now, I know that's a big gender stereotype. You can flip it in your relationship, but there's something to be said about learning your partner and then stepping up and doing it without them asking you to do it. It's like you get a bonus. It's a little extra credit. All right, let's finish up this episode and then let's check out the update.
When I first arrived at the Ririe household, they had no discipline for the children. Now the children know there is a consequence for unacceptable behaviour, and because of that, we have happier parents and we have children who know where they stand.
And these are from the kids and all of their little artists.
That's me.
That's you, and that's Brody, and he's pointing at your shoes.
What a sweet family. Let's see where they are now. Post episode, Scott and Jennifer divorced. Jennifer now has the last name Sanders and gave birth to 2 more daughters. The episode was filmed in October of 2004, so it's exactly 20 years old. Oh, we have the ages now because everybody would be 20 years older. Scott is 59, Jennifer is 50, Celia is 29, Halden is 27, Blake is 24, and Broden is 20. And we don't know the names or ages of the 2 daughters. I don't see any links here on the wiki. I will do some digging, and if I find anything, I will insert the pictures now. Editing Kristen here, and I have found the goods. So here is Dad Scott. I mean, I hope I found a whole bunch of things on Instagram, on Facebook with the kids, and I just hope I found the right people. You tell me if I'm wrong. This looks a lot like Dad. There's nothing else on his Instagram, but if you go to his Facebook page, look what we have here. Down here, if we open up this photo, this looks like the 4 children. Okay, so I'll zoom in there for you. And then from there, I found the Facebook for the oldest child, and it looks like he has a ton. If you go to his photos and his videos, he has a ton of videos with skating, so skateboarding, which are pretty interesting to look at. Also here, he has even more. I'll show you one. Pretty cool. I would fall on my face. That doesn't look like him though. It must be a little montage of him and a friend. There he is. Very, very cool. And then we move on to the second youngest, Blake. These photos were from, I want to say 2016. Let me open it real quick. Yeah, 2016. So not super up to date, but I found a more up to date version on his Instagram, which I thought it was adorable that he's using his baby photo. This is a more up to date photo. And I noticed that people were even asking, or one person was asking, were you on Supernanny? So this has to be him. I'm assuming this is him. We have some random photos, but then, oh, the doggy. This is what I wanted to show you. This looks like his prom with his prom date. How lovely is that? That is the update on the family. I unfortunately couldn't find anything with Jennifer, even with her new last name, Sanders. Let me know if you find something. But for now, we do see what all of the kids look like here. And then this is another photo of Dad, Scott. Oh, well, look, there's the dog. Ta-da! Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time.